Okay, so today's chapter is on. Okay, so today's lesson is on chapter 19, lesson 3 on quadrilaterals. And it is about classifying quadrilaterals using the missing angle measurements. We just filled out the glossary terms for quadrilateral, rectangle, parallelogram, square, rhombus, and trapezoid. So make sure you guys use that as your reference for when you're doing your homework. And let's look at the example on page 416. So a quadrilateral we know is a four-sided figure, okay? So we all learned that, and we talked about many different four-sided figures, okay? And the sum of the angle measures in any quadrilateral is equal to what? Everyone?
360.
Very good. The sum of the angle measures is equal to 360 degrees. So you can use the sides and the angles to classify quadrilaterals. So two different ways that you can classify. You're going to either use the sides, or the second method that you can classify is using the angles. Okay? So when you look at the example here, and you look at the picture of Angel Stadium in Anaheim, there are many, many different types of quadrilaterals in there. So what are some examples of the quadrilaterals you see in that figure? Harshit, what's one you see?
I see a trapezoid.
Trapezoid, good. Aviv? Rectangle, okay. Varsha?
Square.
A square, okay.
I see a rhombus.
Rhombus, okay. Arushi? Okay, lots of trapezoids, yep. Very good. Now that we understand that there's all these different types of quadrilaterals, we're going to look at how do we find missing angle measures, right? So if we look at the example at the bottom of page 416, there's an upside down trapezoid. Okay. And we have in one corner an angle measure of 75 degrees. In the right upper hand corner, we have 41 degrees. And the bottom right is 132 degrees. And bottom left, we don't know what that is, and we're just labeling it X for now. Okay? So using what we know that the sum of the angle measures all equals what? 360, right? So all of these added up together should equal 360, meaning X is equal to 360 degrees minus the sum of 75 degrees plus 41 degrees plus 132 degrees. Okay? So if I add up 75, 41, and 32, I get a total of 248 degrees. So I'm going to take 360 minus 248 degrees, and that will give me 112 degrees. So the missing angle measure over here is equal to 112 degrees. So looking at number 1 at the top of 417, we're going to classify each figure in as many ways as possible. So there's some of these figures can be classified into more than one, okay? So let's look at number 1. Obviously, the figure is a four-sided figure, correct? So if it is a four-sided figure, automatically we can say it is a quadrilateral. So that's no matter what, as long as it has four sides, it's going to be a quadrilateral. So let's make a list on the side here. So we have quadrilateral as one of them. Okay, now let's start to look at the sides. I want to work from the outside in, okay? And I see that, okay, so when we look at the outside, we see that each of the sides is equal to 9 centimeters. So if we know that every single side is equal to 9 centimeters, what can we classify this as? a rhombus, right? Because we know that a rhombus has 4 equal sides. And they are parallel to each other. What else can this be classified as then? What else, Jason?
A parallelogram.
Very good, a parallelogram. How did you know that it can be a parallelogram?
Because all sides were the opposite side was parallel to the other opposite side.
Very good. Okay, so now we have to figure out the missing angle measure. So in the inside, we have here 58 degrees in this corner, 122 over here, and 122 over here. What do we know about parallelograms and rhombuses about the angle measures? That we don't technically need to do any type of calculation. We should automatically know what it is. Yuna?
The opposite angles have the same measure.
Very good. Opposite angles have the same measure. So if I look at the opposite side of where x is, what number is that? 58. So x equals 58 degrees. Very good. Now, can I double check my work and make sure that's right? Yes. Okay, I can take 122 plus 122 plus 58 plus x, which we don't know, and that should all equal to 360 degrees. And if we do that, does it equal?
Yeah.
Does x, if we put 58 in there, will that solve it for me? Yes, it does. Okay. All right, let's look at the next figure. Number 2. Okay, so we have this figure here. Number 2. Automatically, we know it's a quadrilateral. It's a 4-sided figure. So that's one thing we can classify this as. Okay. What else can we classify this as? Looking at the outside, do they all have the same number of... Are they all the same length? No. So definitely can't. We have to rule out square. We have to rule out rhombus and rectangle. So what do we have left then, Nishant? A trapezoid. Very good. How did you know that it was a trapezoid?
Because there are 2 sides that are parallel, but the other ones don't.
Very good. We only needed one pair of parallel sides, right? And the other ones aren't, and so that's why it can't be classified as anything else. All right, let's look at the angle measure. So we have 2 right angles, which we know are how much?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. And then we have one obtuse angle that's given to us at 135 degrees. And then we have one missing angle measure. Okay, so let's add up the 90 and the 90 and the 135, and how much do we get? So this is 180 plus 135 plus x, and then we have 5 plus 11, 315 plus x, okay, equals 360. So if we subtract 315, we get x equals 45 degrees. Okay, so up here I would have quadrilateral, trapezoid, and 45 degrees, and box your answer. So when we look at this figure automatically, what can we classify this as? What? Quadrilateral. Always start with quadrilateral. Everything that has 4 sides, start with quadrilateral. Okay? What else can this be classified as? Let's look at the outside. We have 6 and 6 and 4 and 4. So if we have 2 sets of lengths that are the same, what is that, Elizabeth? Awesome. Rectangle. And then, what else can this be? What else? Gotham? Very good. Why is it also a parallelogram?
The opposite sides are parallel.
Very good. And this is really easy. My angle measure, x, is x equals 90 degrees. We know that because of the symbol right there. Box your answer.